He has not come up with 101 ways to cook bologna. He's come up with over 200. It is a flanker book that has been one of its best sellers since it's first come out. My next guest, please welcome Kevin Phillips. He's on the line. Kevin, how are you?
I am doing great. Yourself?
Listen, I am doing fantastic. What is it about being out in the woods and cooking bologna? Like, you know what I mean? It's such an easy dish to make. It's so tasty. It can be tossed in anything. It's
oh yes, it has been one of the at least on the West Coast, one of their favorites. Going out in the bush and frying up some bologna and having it with white bread, butter and molasses, and a good strong cup of tea.
Molasses and bologna?
Yes.
Kevin, you are from the West Coast. Where are you from?
I'm from Cape St. George. That's on the Port-au-Port Peninsula.
Cap Saint George.
Cap Saint George, oui.
Where's the school? There's new high school that's out there. Is that a Cape St. George too? Yes.
Yes.
I love that community because originally the community was on the island that existed just off the coast of the mainland because I guess it was closer to fishing grounds.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? It's a wonderful story when you realize that because I've done that drive. It's beautiful. Like if anyone hasn't done the drive of the Port-au-Port Peninsula, you're missing out because it is a spectacular drive. But to get to what really is the end of the province, and then you find out that people didn't live on the mainland. They lived on the island. I think they actually called it mainland. Is that correct? Is that how it went?
It used to be, yes. No, it's the other way around. If they were leaving to go up to Canada, Upper or Lower Canada, they would say, we're going to the mainland. Now, but there is a mainland on the Port-au-Port Peninsula. They used to fish off a little island just out probably a kilometer and a half from the mainland. It's called Red Island. And back in the 1700s, that's where they all fished off. And apparently, been talking to a few older people around here, and they would tell me that the codfish would actually roll on the beach on Red Island.
Those were the days, my friend. We thought they'd never end. Anyway, Kevin, you know what? I feel bad, actually. I think because I love seeking out pieces of culture in this province, and I believe that you might be the first French-speaking Newfoundlander that I've had on, and I'm really glad to welcome you to the show.
Not a problem at all. My pleasure.
Now, let's talk bologna. Why bologna, Kevin?
Well, see, bologna goes back a long, long way. And I remember as a kid, back in the 50s, my dad used to have a general store. Now, in our community, we ate a lot of fish. Now, a lot of the families, the bigger families, like had small little farms. When I say small farms, cow, pig, whatever the case may be, hens and that. But the favorite meat, especially throughout the winter and that, was bologna. And it was actually one of our proteins we had, and a lot of people ate it. And I remember my dad getting thousands of pounds each week, and it would be gone by the end of the week.
Thousands of pounds?
Yes.
That's hard to get I've had a couple of interesting calls already today on this show, but thousands of pounds of bologna might be the topper, okay?
Right. If you look at it this way, like they say, Newfoundland and Labrador takes in 1/3 of the share of bologna processed across Canada, right? And that's the average around. It came down a little bit lately, but the average is around 5 pounds per person.
Listen,
and those who don't eat 5 pounds, the other person eats 10 pounds. I took that from Scapes.
For me, it's a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure, I can tell you right now. And the fact that when we have the annual Santa Claus parade here in the city, and the big stick actually tops Santa says a lot about our love affair with bologna.
Yes, sir. It's too bad that the big stick didn't start giving out gifts. we'd be all satisfied around Christmas time.
It is a beautiful book. It is probably one of Flanker's best-selling books. It is. The pictures are spectacular. It's high-end, glossy. Boy, oh boy! You must be pretty damn proud of it.
I'm very proud of it, and again, I want to thank, of course, Gary Cranford of Flanker Press. He's the president, and he took me under his wing, and we went through it. And of course, it was actually pushed by his wife, Margot. I guess she's the brains, right? So we did that.
That's usually the way. Like bologna nachos, bologna taco. It's basically taking the world of food and using bologna instead of the beef, chicken, pork, etc.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite recipe?
Well, I have to go back years ago because my mom, I guess that would be the traditional bologna recipes back then was bologna stew, bologna fried with eggs, or bologna fried with onion gravy, mashed potatoes, and green peas. That were the traditional dinners back then. Plus, for instance, and raw, of course, we ate, well, uncooked rather. We ate it raw like that, which was delicious. And, so it goes back a long way. Those are the traditional recipes.
Here's one that really jumped out the page for me, and that's called a Newfie mess, which is like I have a hankering for it right now, okay? We're talking homemade fries, dressing, chicken or turkey, fried onions, pork and beans, chopped bologna, gravy, cheddar cheese, shredded, and salt and pepper. Like, oh my God, what are you doing to me, Kevin?
And it's delicious, and the good part with this particular one, I remember eating it. We used to use mutton gravy from the day before. You see? And so normally they would cook some mutton. I'm not talking about lamb now. I'm talking about mutton. Mm-hmm. And my mom would cook the chicken with that, and we would have the dressing and the leftover dressing plus the mutton or the onion gravy or mutton onion gravy. It was absolutely delicious. Loved it.
Kevin, your book is beautiful. It is the Bologna Cookbook. It is one of Flanker's best sellers, and there's a reason for it because it just looks so good, and it is, I don't know, I think, I see this as like a coffee table piece. You know what I mean? Something to have on a coffee table to, when you see like a piece of bologna wrapped around some green split green peas or asparagus or something. It's just, I don't know. I love it. And guess what? I will be talking to you again, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what the French culture is like over there on the west coast of this province. How about that?
Not a problem at all.
Kevin Phillips, the Bologna Cookbook. We are going to right now open up the phones, and here they light up. For the first person who calls in is going to get their very own copy of the Bologna Cookbook, and I'm already watching the phones light up like you wouldn't imagine. Kevin Phillips, it's been a pleasure. I think we chatted on Nightline years ago, but it's great to talk to you again.
Yes, we have, yeah.
Take care, bud.
You take care now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there go the phones. Sorry about that, Zach. We are going to the next commercial break. Yes, the Bologna Cookbook. I mean, I could, like, every single recipe freaks me out. Bologna chowder? Bologna chowder. Bologna filet with partridge berry sauce? Like, every title is its own story. Bologna and brews? I love that book. We are going to the break. Don't go away. Back in a flash.